Hello, and welcome to Year of the Vampire. This week we watched Interview with the Vampire. That's what I said.
I know, I'm just making sure everyone else knows. Also, you might not know this, but this is actually the halfway point in our little year-long project we've been doing.
Yes, so watching this was bound to happen eventually.
Yeah, this is like the second time we tried this, and I know you said that the first time.
I was about to say, you just literally stole the thing I said.
You all wouldn't believe the look he just gave me when I said that. Alright, so I haven't seen this movie before now. Like, that's obviously not new. I haven't seen a lot of these movies. You had seen this, though.
The, pieces of it on TV.
Okay, you never said that. You just said you'd seen it. So did you lie?
I mean,
You hear that, everyone? He deceived us. He deceived every one of us, and he's not even ashamed.
From the pieces of it that I seen,
Lying bastard.
I knew I liked it, but I distinctly remember Queen of the Damned more, which is kind of unrelated if we're talking about the movies, despite namesake.
It's completely related, though. That's based on the third book.
Let's be real, there's a lot of freaking books in this series.
There's 13. I counted before we did this. Thank you, Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Alright, so, yeah, we should probably get into this.
The plot.
I knew that it said it's Interview with the Vampire, but I didn't realize the entire movie was just going to be an interview.
I mean, that's the point to it, though.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying that, but I don't know. I guess I expected less interview in Interview with the Vampire.
Anyways, if you want a quick rundown of the idea for this movie, since there's a lot of time lapses throughout it, it's basically just about Louis recounting his past with Lestat.
The Frenchman Lou.
A lot of Louisiana shots and London.
Oh yeah, it was in Louisiana. Well, at first, yeah. Then London. Then a boat.
Yeah, there's a few other places.
I think the establishing shots, the modern day shots in 1991, I think it was supposed to be.
Yes.
Is in Los Angeles, because that was the Golden Gate Bridge at the end, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure that was actually.
I don't know. It was quick, and I was half paying attention at the end.
It's kind of a long movie.
It's 2 hours, but yeah, the story is just about Louis. Starting the story, he loses his wife and kid, and just kind of wants to die, but Lestat just feeds on him and is like, hey, you want to be a vampire or die? It's like, well, when you give me a choice like that.
Yeah, it's one option or another, so. And basically the rest of the movie is just him dealing with the struggles of, trying to keep his humanity while obviously being a vampire.
Hey, they turned the kid too.
That's a whole nother...
And then they tried to kill Lestat twice, which didn't work either time. How is he still alive? He's also in every other book.
He's at least in 2/3 of the books.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. It was an interesting story. I don't know, some parts weren't to my taste personally, but some people might be into this movie. I didn't dislike it.
A surprising amount happened.
Yeah, there was a lot happening. There were a decent amount of time skips. I'm actually not sure. Did he mention how long it had been?
It started in the 1700s.
Oh, yeah, right. Duh. They mentioned that they turned the kid, and then 30 years later they tried killing Lestat. How long were they searching for other vampires, though?
That is a good... I don't think they actually mentioned the time. I assumed maybe a year or two.
We might have missed it if they mentioned it, or if they didn't mention it, maybe it mentions it in the book. I don't know. Just seemed like they were on that boat for a while.
I mean, it was the 1800s, and the boats were probably a lot slower at that point, so...
Oh, shit, we were actually taking a bit. Anyway, acting. What did you think of the acting? I thought it was good for the most part. But
it was mostly good.
There were some parts that were actually pretty hammy that I had a hard time taking seriously.
A bit of cheesiness, kind of dramatic, but that's kind of what you'd expect in what I'm assuming is at least somewhat of a drama.
Oh, it's very much a drama. This was I don't know. I feel like being a vampire, a lot of the scenes kind of took a backseat to just being very sad.
I mean, it's apt.
Yeah, I thought it was good acting though, and there's a decent amount of bigger names in this because yeah, it's Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise as the main characters. Antonio Banderas was in as Armand like later on in the movie, which I didn't recognize him at first. I don't know. I don't think I've seen him with hair that long before, or as a vampire and living underground.
Any of them with their hair that long, to be honest. They all had very long hair.
Look, let's just say there was some time between this movie and Spy Kids. Because he's the dad in Spy Kids.
Oh, yeah, all right.
He's also the dad in the second and third Spy Kids, obviously. But this isn't a video about Spy Kids.
So, what did you think about the music?
Pretty good. Obviously, lots of like kind of classical music, which is pretty common in these, but it should be even more common in this 1800s. They're not going to have like synth guitar and crap and like.
Yeah, it made sense for the time frames that they're a lot of piano.
Yeah, a lot of piano.
Much freaking piano.
It's too bad this wasn't about the sequel, because I guess the sequel novel is actually about Lestat coming back into the world during the 1980s, and he like reveals himself to a rock band near the beginning.
Yeah, that's sort of what Queen of the Damned is about.
So it would have been more rock music at that point, but unfortunately we didn't get to that part in the timeline.
Weirdly, that movie takes place in like the early 2000s, though.
Oops.
It differs greatly from the story.
Cinematography.
It's good.
Yeah, I liked it. There weren't, like we've seen in a lot of these, there weren't a ton of really out there shots with a lot of these movies, which... Well, this was another bigger movie with some slightly bigger names, so obviously they're not going to get really experimental or bizarre, but there were good establishing shots, and I liked how like there was a lot of good focus on all the shit we should be focusing on instead of the camera just kind of fucking wandering.
Yeah, everything like also just fit in the actual like time frames they were supposed to fit at that point.
I think it looked very nice.
There's one weird part in the streets of London where they obviously used like a rail camera and you could see it sliding as he was walking down the street. It was weirdly shaky. That was the only one part that just kind of caught me off guard.
Hey, nothing could be weirder than watching Braveheart when you see that car in the background.
Freedom. Anyways, how about special effects?
I thought the special effects were actually very good. Well, I thought they were very good. I
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
A lot of blood, a lot of fire, and a heavy amount of... the clothing was so detailed. Very nicely done.
That one vampire getting, like, sliced in half near the end was kind of wild. I wasn't expecting that. Like, we'd seen plenty of gore and violence in the movie before that, but we'd never seen somebody get, like, sliced in half. And like, a minute or two before that, a woman got decapitated.
Yeah, not gonna lie, the entire massacre scene was just insane.
And people were like exploding out of their coffins. Like,
I can't say it was out of nowhere. It was definitely well deserved.
But the vampires exploding out of their coffins was kind of out of nowhere. Why were they doing that?
He was literally just waking up, but on fire. How would you do that if you were a vampire?
I mean, I wouldn't do it like I was being launched out of the coffin with a fucking spring. That's for sure. But yeah, I don't know. Overall, though there were some parts that I was a little iffy on, overall, I thought this was actually a pretty good movie. I thought it was well shot, well acted, and yeah, I really liked it. I recommend it. What about you?
Yeah, definitely worth a watch.